Do you want to bring balance to all the wireless radiation fields in your life, including 5G? The Omnia Radiation Balancer is a small sticker you can stick on any device. It changes the state of the field and creates a new resonance between the wireless radiation and your energy field. On the link below, you'll see all our testing results that show how the body responds excellently once you've made this change in your life. Plus, you can enter the discount code BBE in capital letters for a 10% discount. It's easy to bring balance back to your body with the Omnia Radiation Balancer.
St. Louis dropping, popping.
Black bodies on the line. Let the creator elevate your mind.
New hits like this.
Like 3, you're out, no mistake. That's the way the pitch break. My old man, sleeping in his
The redemption song by the V.
sometimes grumbling and complaining, but always keeping on. A garden of fragrant flowers. Then you, woman child,
Last poet, you know it.
flowering garden of my heart, and my heart open to you.
Pick it up at your local
Like
neighborhood
a stream
stores.
flowing out.
Welcome to another episode of a News You Can Use podcast. This is Frenchaire-Gardner, the host of the podcast, and we are delighted that you are taking the time out to listen to yet another episode of a News You Can Use podcast. Stop, wherever you are. Go ahead on and review the podcast wherever you're tuning in, if that's Spotify or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you are listening, tuning into the podcast. Give us a review and a rating, and that really helps the podcast get discovered by others just like yourselves. And while you're at it, go ahead and share the podcast with 5 other people. We sure do appreciate your reviews. So we have an awesome business spotlight on the line with us today. Her name is Brittney Guary. Welcome to the show, Brittney.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. I'm so grateful that you took me up on my invitation.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So let me tell you a little bit about Brittney. So in breaking free, women will find the resources they need to break free from the cycle of abuse and trauma. As a survivor of many forms of abuse and trauma, I share my personal story and provide you with the necessary tools and guidance to begin your own path towards healing. Whether through emotional, physical, or sexual abuse, I'll walk you through the realities of abuse and trauma and how it can impact one's daily life, relationships, and overall well-being. With concrete steps towards recovery, breaking free is a powerful resource for women who are ready to move forward in their healing journey, understand their true identity, and walk in their anointing. Brittney, tell us about yourself. Give us some historical background about yourself and tell us where you're from and where you at.
From the Lancaster County area in Pennsylvania. So lots of farmland. And I am a mother of 4 children. I actually have twin 2-year-olds.
Oh,
so
wow.
They have been keeping me very busy the past couple of years. I'm also an entrepreneur, and I just published this book this year, just a couple months ago. And I have my hand in quite a few other businesses, and just seeing where God is really taking me in the past couple years and beyond.
Yes, ma'am. So, have you been writing long, or is this your first book project, or what's the story?
So this is actually my very first book. I did have a blog a little while ago, like towards the very beginning of my divorce. I got divorced. Well, I separated from my ex-husband in January of 2021, and then I had my twins in March of 2021. And through all of the chaos and um, battles that we were going through, I decided to start a blog online. I found that very healing for myself. Um, Once I got to a good spot, I felt like I was like kind of coasting. And then God was like, oh, you should write this book.
Hmm.
So after pushing that off for a couple more months, I decided to dive in and I wrote this book and I'm actually really, really glad that I did that now.
Very nice. Very nice. And so tell us about your book, Breaking Free.
So Breaking Free was really inspired by my hurt and trauma and healing, as well as more than anything, others that were going through it. I started to really notice, and people were really being highlighted to me that were struggling with depression and just being in all forms of abuses, especially at the time, especially in like the Christian community, because of course divorce is pretty frowned upon in that community. And I started to just notice children, um, and what they were going through, my daughter's friends, and just people that I was close with. So I really was like, I think based off of the fact that I have had many forms of abuse, even growing up, just throughout my entire life, really, I know what it's like firsthand to be able to heal. And I wanted other people to know that that is possible. And I wanted to help others, especially women, be able to walk through those steps on properly healing and really just encouraging them that it is possible.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So you turned your pain into passion
Yes.
and purpose.
Yes. Yes, most
Beautiful.
definitely.
Beautiful. Where can we find your books? Where can we buy it?
So right now they are on Amazon. I do have, there is also a journal that corresponds with this. It really is just a blank journal, because throughout the book and every chapter, at the end of each chapter, I give the readers something to do. That way they can actually practice in their healing and put it to action, not just reading the words on the page. So there is that. And then also on Amazon, you'll see the blue cover with the heart and wildflowers. That's the original copy. There's also a black one. It's a blackout edition. That one I just formatted the inside differently. So there's no bold chapters, no bold anything in there really. I kind of compacted it down as small and tight as I could. That way it's easier for hiding in case someone is still in an abusive relationship and needs to just hide that book.
Oh wow. That's deep. Now, how did you come up with that idea?
That actually was from my friend Nikki. I told her I would always give her the credits for that. She was going to give my book to one of her friends who is currently in, or at least was currently in, an abusive situation. And she wanted to hide the cover of it. And she was trying to figure out how she could hide that. So I told her just to wait a minute and I would get her a book that she wouldn't have to try to hide. It would already be hidden as best as I could. So there is the blackout version.
Oh, that's really deep and
Yeah.
impactful because that's true. You might your partner might see the cover, and so that might be a trigger. So that's a
Yeah.
bright idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I was really glad she gave me that idea.
That's what's up. And so tell us about your other businesses.
So I also do microblading. I started my own microblading business in 2020. Um, and then I also am a credit repair specialist. So I like to honestly just do that more of a basically free service. There's only so much I can do for free with that, especially with like legal documents, but I love to help people build their credit. And then I'm also an influencer and content creator throughout social media. So I'm on all the social media I shouldn't say all, but I'm on most of the social media platforms.
Yes. There's so many.
There are.
So what is exactly is microblading? I'm not really familiar with that.
So that is a form of permanent makeup, and it's like a tattoo eyebrow. It's the best way I can describe it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm not good at taking them off. My daughter always asks me to like fix her eyebrows up and trim them down and stuff. I'm like, I'm better at tattooing them on.
And that is that a popular service for people?
Yes, actually, I found that it is very popular service. And it's all over the world, which is great. And I am certified in it, and then I also teach it as well. So it's a rewarding job. It is definitely client based though, but the pay is great. And the results are really nice. I like seeing people all done up.
Okay, so what's the benefit of doing microblading versus any other form of dealing with your eyebrows?
So I draw my eyebrows on, and that's how I got into microblading. My friend had suggested I get them done because I was sick and tired of drawing them on because I have very little eyebrow. And once I seen the price of it, I said, wait a second, let me see how do they do this. And then once I realized that it was something I could do. Not that it was easy to do per se, but something I could do it. That's
Hmm.
when I went and I got my certificate. So it definitely helps. You don't have to draw your eyebrows on every single day. You can even them out, fill them, whatever your eyebrow needs are.
I see. Wow. I learned something.
Yeah.
So may I ask a personal question in regards to your book? So
Yes.
how did I know you said that you felt led by the Lord to write the book? Like how did you were in a position to go ahead and say, okay, well I've been through this. Let me tell my story. How did you come to that point?
Um, I think I really just came to that point after seeing so many people asking for help. Um, I I know abuse is like one of those things that happens a lot, and most of the time it's always kept secret. It is very difficult to get out of. I know that firsthand. After I went through my abuses, I completely understood why women stay. Um, to me, it just after I went through my stuff, it made sense to me, and that was very sad for me. Um, and then just being in court and being the victim, basically, and seeing how hard it is to fight in court, especially against someone, the abuser that admitted to the abuse, admitted to the child abuse that took place with my son, and the court system really, really making it harder for me.
Mm.
I just, I honestly never would have thought that that was a thing. I really thought that once we went in here, since he admitted to it, since child services completed their investigation, said that it happened, they had his admission on file, and they still made it the court system, the government system, all of that, the judicial system made it very hard for me still. They did help. So I am very grateful for the help that they did do, but it was very hard. And I just, even being in the room, like, so when you go into court, they put us all into one room, like all the victims, they'll put all into one room, and we all wait for our court hearing to be before the judge. And just
Hmm.
listening even to some of those women and men, I have been in there with men, but listening to their stories and just their pain and their struggle, and even just the little bits that you could get just from them talking to their attorney, um, and even watching some of them give up and leave, That was the most difficult thing, was just watching them struggle so much with their
Mm,
abuse that they gave up and they left because it was just so hard. So I didn't want
mm.
that to continue. I had to go through with the book and whatever I could to help these women get out of abusive situations.
Well, that's real. It's really greatly appreciated and it's needed. Um,
Yes.
the healing is definitely a process, and
Yes.
so your book, can be the catharsis or the catalyst towards someone's healing. I'm glad that you're able to speak on the podcast so that anybody who may need this book can get it. You know,
Yes.
I can definitely relate to being in abusive and traumatic experiences. So um, it'll be something that I'll be looking into by myself as well.
Yes. Yeah.
All
Yeah, and I
right,
speak about the different forms of abuse too. A lot of
you
people
do.
don't. Yeah, most people, even me, honestly, there were forms of abuse that I had not even known that I was going through until counseling happened, and I was like, "Oh, I had no idea financial abuse was a thing." There was just so many
Hmm.
things. So, it's definitely not one of those books that's just for physical or sexual abuse or even child abuse. Like, it is for all of the forms of abuse that you could possibly think of, and even just anyone in a hurting relationship. If you just are hurt from any relationship, period, whether it's a husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, or even just your parents or friendship or church hurt or whatever, it's still, there's so much deeper into that. And I definitely wanted to make sure I covered as many of all of the areas that I possibly could think of covering.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, because that's it's needed. You know.
Yes.
So you have an event
Yeah.
coming up.
I do. I will be
Nice.
speaking in Fayetteville, North Carolina in October on the 21st.
Very nice. Where at?
I She is sending me all of the information. She did tell me the name of the place, but I will definitely have all of that on all of my social media accounts as soon as she gets me. She's putting together like a flyer advertisement
Yes.
with the official event name and who's all going to be there. But I know it's going to be a pretty big event. I know she did say like the mayor and some other important people were going to be there as well. But I will be
Nice.
speaking there and doing a book signing as well.
Very nice. In Fayetteville, North Carolina. Okay, good. Good,
Yep.
good. All right, and tell us your social media account names and stuff. How we can stay connected with you.
Yes. So on Facebook, I have the Facebook that's just under bguary, which is my last name, Guary. And then I also have a TikTok, which the handle is at Home Sweet Destinations. And Instagram is also Be Gary. Same with YouTube. I kind of keep it simple across the whole board.
Good. Yeah, that's the best way.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. And then you said you can get your books on Amazon, right?
Yes. Amazon does have all of my books.
Alrighty. I love it. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I am so appreciative of you taking out the time to do this for me.
You're very welcome. You have had a good message, and so I wanted to go ahead and share it with my audience.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. So our last segment, Brittney, is we drop some gems for anybody that's aspiring to be a business owner or entrepreneur. What two gems would you lay on them today?
Well, the first one is go for it. I think that pretty much sums it up. Just go for it. You will figure it out as it comes. Which also goes into the second one. Just don't give up on your dream. If it's something that's on your heart, if it's something especially meaningful, which I hope everyone's business has meaning into it,
Right.
um, it will come, the steps will go, and don't give up. Just keep on pushing. Business is not easy. It is not easy at all. Anyone that owns any type of business or even has sold anything, it's not easy, but it's worth it. So just go for it and keep going.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, Brittney. I really
Yes, you're
appreciate
welcome. Thank
you.
you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And once again, tell everybody how we can stay connected with you, and name of your book and where we can get it.
So the book is called Breaking Free: Healing from Abuse and Trauma, and that is on Amazon. The blue is the original, and there's also that blackout copy. And I am on all the social medias. If you type in my name, Brittney Guary, Guary, you will find me. Not many people have that last name.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much, Brittney, for coming on to the News You Can Use podcast. We do appreciate everything that you're doing for our communities out there. And until next time, we say peace.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Free your mind while it's time. What's up with that? I got one thing on my mind. What's up with that? Revolution. Yo, that's Pharaoh Jerome.
Please make me die 1,000 deaths in a day, and then I won't jump in the front while you
Put it down for the new time. Put it down for the new time. Assalamu alaikum. Peace. Shalom, shalom. Hotel. Yeah, MIDT Records. B&B Productions. Rhythmic Sound. Love to rap. Yo, check it out. And all your local neighborhood stores.
B&Us LLC. Hip hop with DJ Ben.
So you've been enjoying the beats by the host, Frenchaire-Gardner. And the other musicians who have submitted their music to a News You Can Use podcast. Your music can be played on the podcast too. Globally streamed. Come on now. Email us your MP3 WAV files. Only criteria that you either black or brown, and that your music is positive. Because on the News You Can Use podcast, we promote positivity and vibrating on a high frequency. And so, send in your music. I'll play it, and it'll be fun hearing your podcast. I mean, you're hearing your song played on Spotify and iHeartRadio and Pandora and Audible and iBooks and Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Breaker, Stitcher. And there's over 30 countries besides the United States are streaming a News You Can Use podcast. So I'm just grateful for you. I'm grateful for all the musicians who sent us music and gave us permission to play their music on our podcast and platform. So send us your music. I'll put the email in the show notes. You can always reach out to us on Instagram on our BNUS page. That's, the @ B as in beautiful, E as in excellent, A as in and, D as in dance, U as in umbrella, S as in sing, L as in light, L as in love, C as in if you scared, go to church.
Check this out. Yo, them beats is poppin'. Check this out. St. Louis' very own hit record release. Love Song. By JCD, rap artist. Yeah, he's fat. And now I lay me down. Check this out. If they ain't paying, I ain't staying. If they ain't spending, I ain't. From MIDT Records, B&B Productions. Pick it up at your local neighborhood store. Sound.
Hello again. This is Frenchaire, and I am just so grateful that you took the time to listen to another episode of a News You Can Use podcast. It really means a lot to me. I meet some really dynamic entrepreneurs and business owners in person and over the net. And it delights me that there are people all over the world getting to know these business owners, their businesses, and the impact that they are having in their communities. At this time, I do ask that you review and rate the podcast wherever you are listening, on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Rate and give us a review. By doing so, you help this podcast to be discovered by others that have similar tastes, views, and beliefs like yourself. So if this podcast episode resonated with you, please, I'm almost begging you to leave us a review and rate the podcast, and also follow us or subscribe wherever you're listening to the podcast. This podcast is about promoting BIPOC business owners, musicians, and artists. And I'm all of that. What? Ow! So let me shed some light on the things that I have going on and ways that you may support my businesses. As an author, I have several books that you may purchase in print, ebook, and as audiobooks. Mommy and Daddy, Do You Still Love Me Anymore is available. The first edition is available on Amazon as an ebook. Mommy and Daddy, Do You Still Love Me Anymore? The second edition is available in English and translated in Spanish. Available as a paperback or ebook. The English version as an audiobook as well. All the ways to buy the book are in the show notes, and I am grateful for you. If you go to my website, Frenchaire.com, I can get you signed copies. If you go to Amazon, the book won't be signed, but you'll have the book, and that'll be lovely. I'd love for you to give me a review on Amazon. Finding Joy in the Journey Volume 2, Healthy Ways of Finding Joy During Difficult Times, 90-day devotional is available. It's Amazon #1 bestseller. Gold Nuggets for Entrepreneurs, Lessons That Change Your Life is an international #1 Amazon bestseller, written by 11 authors from all over the world. The Strategy and Struggle is available on Books to Read, available on different ebook platforms. And The Single Save Struggle, The Struggle Continues, is available on my website at Frenchaire.com. Right now, I have put a deep discount on all of my art, paintings, original abstract paintings that I have painted, and I want you to get them. They're on my website at Frenchaire.com/shop. So just go to the shop, and you can get original art made by me, painted by me, and they are pretty dope. They're abstract. My hope is to bring you peace and joy and love and light and hope with the paintings. Also, I have designed collections of merchandise with the original abstract paintings, some of them. So you can go to Frenchies, FRENCHYS, wonders.threadless.com. That's in the show notes. I have all my websites on there. If I didn't put a specific book on the show notes, it's either on my page, Frenchaire.com, or you can go, which is FRENCHAIRE.com, or you can go to my link tree that I have all the links to the books, linktree/FrenchAirG. And I am grateful for you. If you know a business owner, or you are a business owner that is listening to the podcast right now and you want to be a guest on the podcast, email me. My email is in the show notes. And let me know you want to be a guest. Hey, I'd like for you to leave a voice message. Leave a voice message that I can play on the next episode. Encouragement, suggestions. Tell me that I suck. Tell me that you love the show. Anything. I'm open. So leave me a voice message. The link is in the show notes. I think it's at the very end. And again, I'm just so grateful that you tuned in to another episode of a News You Can Use podcast. Take advantage of the link, the affiliate link for Omnia Radiation Balancer. You get 10% off with the code B. And if you are a musician, or artist that makes music, definitely email us your MP, I think it's 4, or whatever. Email your music to me, and I'll definitely play it on the podcast, and of course give you credit and send you the link so you can share that and you can have that in your portfolios. And thank you to all the artists and musicians that have sent me music in the past. And again, I'm just grateful that you're tuning in. tap into every business owner that graces the A News You Can Use podcast stages and connect with them and support their businesses. And we want to support your businesses. You can be a sponsor if you want to advertise on the episodes. And so email me to discuss that. Again, the email is in the show notes. So you can advertise on this podcast. And let's continue the conversation. You can continue the conversation on my Instagram page, Frenchaire_Gardner. And that is in the show notes. So let's continue the conversation that we had here on this episode on Instagram at Frenchaire_Gardner. I want to hear from you. So follow me and let's continue the conversation. Peace. Thank you.